welcome back to the podcast. We just got back from a little vacation. What would you call it? A party? Vacation?
A long road trip.
That. And on that road trip, we stopped in the definitely nice city of St. Louis. That sucked.
Gateway to the West, they say. I call it gateway to hell.
It was not as,
Just call it what it is. It's atrocious.
Yes.
That's a bad city.
The only thing there is the arch, and that's it. And the arch is not even...
And they're living off that arch, right? I mean, that's really all they got, and that's completely overrated.
Because we went to around the Cardinals baseball stadium. They had like a little area. And then we went to inside the Hall of Fame building, which is like a little Hall of Fame museum, which we didn't get to see because apparently the building was on fire, which was cool.
Listen, when the dude in the Hall of Fame, you ask him what there's to do in downtown St. Louis, and he looks at you and says nothing, that's pretty telling.
Yes.
And let me tell you, he was not lying. Awful.
We did go to...
Top 5 worst cities in these fine United States.
Union Station was pretty cool, though. That was about it.
No.
You didn't like Union Station?
No.
Why not?
It was fine.
I thought it was, it was something.
That's the point. It was something.
It was the only thing.
It's the best thing we saw in St. Louis.
An
aquarium.
Yeah. But you got to touch jellyfish.
We went to St. Louis to touch jellyfish.
Yeah. And then after
That's like going to Florida to ice skate.
Yeah.
Bad. It's a bad city. I'm glad I'm a Cubs fan and not a Cardinals fan. And I'm not saying it's a bad city because I'm a Cubs fan. I had high hopes for St. Louis.
So actually, we left the city, and then the next day, it flooded.
We were supposed to stay there for 2 nights, and it was such a bad city, we left a night early. Because there's literally nothing to do, and I'm glad we did, because then it flooded. I'm telling you, gateway to hell.
I give a round of applause to anyone who lives in St. Louis or lives near St. Louis, because there is nothing there.
I don't give them applause. I ask them what's wrong with them.
Yeah.
It's bad. But then it makes me appreciate this fine city of Columbus, Ohio.
There's more here.
It's a great city. Takeaway, St. Louis, bottom feeder of cities in the U.S. Don't visit. I never will again. Okay.
Now that's off, out of our system. On to the AFC South. Last episode we did the AFC West. We've already talked about all of the NFC. And we've got 3 divisions left.
Man.
In the NFL.
We're on the South now?
Yes.
So if we're doing like rankings, I would go St. Louis at the bottom.
What? No.
The entire NFC. And then the South the AFC South not far behind. This is a bad division.
Why are you talking about St. Louis?
Just in order of suckiness. St. Louis is at the bottom.
Oh, okay.
The entire NFC is slightly above the city of St. Louis. And then the AFC South is a close third. Kick it off. Where you want to go with
Alrighty. I want to talk about the Jaguars. Why do I want to talk about the Jaguars? They've made some weird free agency moves.
Christian Kirk?
Christian Kirk, getting paid $72 million. I prepared for this, okay? I'm not upset about it. I'm just a little confused. But Christian Kirk is being paid higher than... Okay, so I'm going to ask you if they're better or worse. I'm going to name off a player that Christian Kirk is being paid higher than.
Okay.
Mike Evans.
No.
Allen Robinson.
Equal.
CeeDee Lamb.
No.
Justin Jefferson.
God, no.
T. Higgins.
No.
Deebo Samuel.
No.
Which, by the way, Deebo Samuel
paid.
just got paid, but he's getting paid $71 million.
So did your boy DK Metcalf. He got paid too.
Yeah, he did get paid. Adam Thielen.
No.
Tyler Lockett.
No.
Marquise Brown.
They're in the same class.
Okay, but that's a few.
It's bad contract.
It's a bad contract.
But how else are they going to get him to go to Jacksonville?
That's a good point, but you could have done something so much better with that money.
I mean, they spent a lot of money this offseason.
Yeah. So
I said it on an earlier podcast. Jacksonville will be a better team this year than last. I don't know what's going to show up in the win-loss column, but they're going to be a better team.
But how much better? One win better?
Well, just overall, they will be an improved team. I don't think they're going to win many more games than they did last year. Maybe one, maybe two more games. But they're making progress, potentially. I'm still not sold on Trevor Lawrence.
No,
I know he's like the next coming, according to everybody else. I don't see it yet. I said that when he got drafted.
I mean, they're working with what they have, and I respect them for that, but they're still not a good team. They're they're bottom 2 that division.
Well, they would be an obvious bottom feeder of that division if it wasn't for Houston.
Yes. Which, now on to Houston. I don't even know what to say about them. They are helpless.
When Davis Mills?
Yes.
When Davis Mills is your starting quarterback, you're not good. And you don't have much of a hope of being good. They have no run game. Name their starting running back. Go. I believe it's Rex Burkhead.
Didn't he play for the Patriots like 5 years ago?
Yeah, I think he's as old as Tom Brady.
Oh, nice. Okay.
That's your starting running back, and then they got
what's his name?
The dude from Indy.
Naheem Hines?
No, the other one.
I don't know who you're talking. Not Jonathan Taylor.
No.
Exactly. I don't know who you're talking about.
Again.
Was he on the Cardinals last year? Or no?
Yeah. That again should do research before we come on and.
No, but that's the point, though. We don't know his name because he's not good. Right.
They have 0 weapons. Their defense is bad. It's a bad football team. I mean, like a 2-win football team.
I don't think they get more than 2 wins. 3 at most.
But like 75% of the NFC, they will be in the CJ Stroud, Bryce Young quarterback derby next year for the draft. So it's a bad football team. So Jacksonville, bad. Houston, bad. Then you've got Titans, who I think are going to take a huge step back this year. Ryan Tannehill
is not that good.
He's a mediocre quarterback.
He's fine.
They lost A.J. Brown. They lost Julio Jones.
You have Derrick Henry, but he's just coming off of an injury, so...
They ride Derrick Henry so hard. He's got to break down at some point. And maybe last year was that first year that we see it. I don't know.
And he's getting older, too. I think he's 28, 29 now.
Yeah, they can't keep giving him the ball 25, 30 times a game. The guy is a physical specimen.
He is a tank.
Absolute tank, and I would never want to get in front of him and try and tackle him.
But listen, a tank gets stuck in the mud every so often.
Whoa, look at that analogy.
I got the analogistic brain going.
And you just ruined it. Anyway, continue.
But a tank has to get stuck in the mud every so often. And last year was definitely, the start of dipping down into that, gross, wet mud. And then eventually he's just going to the mud is going to dry and he's just going to be stuck in the mud. Meaning his career is over. Which that might not happen anytime soon. I'm just saying, we're starting to see it a little bit.
They're going to take a big step back this year. They're not going to make the playoffs.
I'm still confused about how they got number 1 seed in the AFC. I mean, they were good last year, but I don't, they weren't that good. I don't.
Well, look, when you're playing Jacksonville twice and Houston twice and Indianapolis twice, which Indianapolis was a pretty good team last year, and that's 4 guaranteed wins, right?
Yeah.
And they've got 4 guaranteed wins this year. Although, yeah, they've got 4 guaranteed wins, but that's their only saving grace. I just think Tennessee takes a step back. So that leaves Indianapolis, who I think with Matty Ice coming on, you got Jonathan Taylor.
A good O-line.
Michael Pittman on the outside.
Your defense is good.
Defense is really good. I think Indianapolis runs away with that division easily.
I don't even think that the Titans are in a 2-3 game race. I don't think they get that close. I think it's a 4 or 5 game difference.
With how loaded the AFC is, you're gonna have to go. You might have to go 11-6 to make the playoffs this year,
which is crazy, but it's true.
At the worst, 10-7. At the absolute worst, but you're probably gonna have to go 11-6 to make the playoffs. Tennessee is not going to go 11-6 this year. They play Ravens. Oh no, sorry. This is bad podcast. The Bills, the Raiders,
and I will get
Colts. No, that was on me. The Colts again. The Chiefs, the Broncos, the Packers. That's a tough schedule. They're not going to go 10-7, 11-6. They go from the number 1 seed last year to not making the playoffs this year. Indy runs away with that division. It's Matt Ryan's one of his final years. He's gonna want to come out and get to the Super Bowl and make a good run. Since they choked the one to the Patriots away a handful of years ago.
28-3.
Is that what it was? 28-3.
How'd you not get a field goal? That's my question.
How do you stop running the ball?
Mm-hmm.
So that's our South preview.
Really, there's
short and sweet. Not much to talk about.
There's not. The South kind of had. I think the only team that got better was the Colts, and they didn't get much better because their team's already good. I mean, you replaced your starting quarterback, which is a big move, but besides that, nothing really happened. Tennessee lost people, which makes them worse. Houston is Houston, and they stayed the exact same. I mean,
keep in mind, Indianapolis was one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the AFC last year, all year. And then they flamed out in the end when all they had to do was win one of their last 2 games. And they had that just atrocious loss to Jacksonville,
which was Carson Wentz's fault
in the last week of the season, and just got blown out. Their doors got blown off, and yet you're right. Carson Wentz played absolutely the worst possible game you could play in the biggest moment. And had the Colts made the playoffs with the team they had, with how stout their defense was, with how good they run the ball, I think they make a deep run in the playoffs. That just shows you how the NFL is so... There's such a fine line between winning and losing. And to your point earlier, they basically have the same team back with a better quarterback. So I think they easily win the South, and I think they got a chance to make a deep run in the playoffs.
All right, so rankings. I think we both will agree on this. We've got Colts number 1, Titans number 2, Jaguars number 3, and Texans number 4.
I concur.
I don't know what that means. I'm guessing you agree.
That's exactly what it means.
Okay. That's going to be it. I mean...
That's it?
The South is boring. They've always been boring, though.
Oh, not when Eddie George was there.
Yeah, and how long ago was that?
I can't keep track. 7, 8 years ago. Jacksonville used to be good when Mark Brunell was there. Took him to the Super Bowl. Oh no, he didn't take him to the Super Bowl. Took him to the AFC title game, where I believe Tom Brady beat him.
Yeah, because that was they were really good that year, and then they sucked the next year.
Indy used to be good. Peyton Manning took him to a Super Bowl.
I'm not. They're boring now. The past the past 5 years, they have been probably the most boring division. I'd say.
They are boring. It's boring football. Absolutely. And this year will be the exact same.
The only team I like is the Colts because I love Jonathan Taylor. Did you know Jonathan Taylor, the first year that he actually played well, he got traded to me. I had no clue who he was. And then he turned out to be absolutely amazing. And then now everyone wants him.
So you like Jonathan Taylor not because he's a good football player, because
no, I love Jonathan.
He helps your fantasy football team.
Yes, but also I love him because he's actually a good football player. So
fair enough. He's a dude.
He's a dude. A stud.
He is. All right.
That's
it for the South.
On to the East, North.
We'll figure it out. Only 2 left.
And then we're done.
All right.
And then on to college football, probably.
We'll see what the day brings.